Hello and welcome to the Coliseum pregame show on the Coliseum Sports Network. It's the first game of today's doubleheader as the Chicago Cubs go north of the border to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Raymond Sims, and I hope you brought your passport. Today's pitching matchup pits Edwin Jackson against Mark Buehrle. Here's a look at the lineup for the visiting Cubs. Leading off will be the left fielder, Chris Coghlan. Batting second will be the second baseman, Javier Baez. Batting third will be the first baseman, Anthony Rizzo. Batting fourth will be the shortstop, Starlin Castro. Batting fifth will be the right fielder, Justin Ruggiano. Batting sixth will be the catcher, Wellington Castillo. Batting seventh will be the center fielder, Arismendi Alcantara. We are in an American League Park, so batting eighth will be the designated hitter, Junior Lake. And rounding out the lineup will be third baseman, Luis Valbuena. And here is the lineup for the homestanding Blue Jays. Leading off will be the shortstop, Jose Reyes. Batting second will be the left fielder, Melky Cabrera. Batting third will be the right fielder, Jose Bautista. Batting fourth will be the catcher, Dioner Navarro. Batting fifth will be the first baseman, Juan Francisco. Batting sixth will be the third baseman, Brett Lawrie. Batting seventh will be the designated hitter, Colby Rasmus. Batting eighth will be the second baseman, Ryan Goins. And batting ninth will be the center fielder, Anthony Gose. The winner will go on to face the winner of tomorrow's National Brewers matchup, while the loser will face the Miami Marlins, who were the winner of their losers bracket matchup against the White Sox 3-2 on the south side of Chicago. So it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned. First pitch is coming up shortly on the Coliseum Sports Network. Welcome to Canada. As we are finally going international with the Coliseum Baseball Tournament, it is the Chicago Cubs, the number 8 seed, taking on the number 5 seed Toronto Blue Jays here in this winner's bracket matchup. So glad that you could join me here today. I'm Raymond Sims on a beautiful day in T-Dot. As both of these teams are looking to advance to the third round without a loss, we will take a look at Rick Renteria's lineup for the visiting Chicago Cubs. It is as follows, as you can see here. Lineups presented to you by MLB 14 The Show. For all PlayStation devices, Chris Coghlan, Javier Baez, and Anthony Rizzo will lead off, and they'll be taking on the lefty Mark Buehrle. Now, if you're a fan of baseball but you aren't a fan of long baseball games, Mark Buehrle is your best friend. He's very well known for pitching very quick games, a reputation of his going all the way back to his days with the Chicago White Sox. And here is the defensive lineup that will be helping him out today, hoping they can get a win here at home, presented by Majestic. So without further ado, let's get to some baseball here this afternoon from Toronto. And leading off will be the left fielder, Chris Coghlan. Here is the first pitch, a four-seamer, only reaching the mid-80s, but it's in there for a strike. Chris Coghlan batting .298 coming into this game, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs. Here's the 0-1 pitch, a cutter, just outside for ball one. Very nice day here in Toronto. It's been a very cool summer across the north, not just in the northern United States, but leading into southern Canada. So all the savings we have in the northern part of the country is passed off here into Ontario. The 1-1 pitch fouled off into the crowd. There's the first souvenir of the game. Chris Coughlin has cemented himself into the left field spot, and this is from a team in the Chicago Cubs that has a lot of up-and-coming fielders. He pops this one out into the outfield, playable in center field by Ghost, and that is the first out of the game. Next up here is the second baseman, Javier Baez. Javier, one of several hyped up young prospects that are coming through the Cubs system. Whenever the Cubs lose a game, a lot of Cubs fans and a lot of other baseball fans like to say, just wait until insert prospect here comes up to the majors. And a couple of them have made their way up, and one of them being Javier Baez. A lot of excitement with him making his major league debut. He'll take a cutter, 1 ball, 1 strike. Javier Baez made his debut in Denver against the Rockies, and that was a pretty rocky game. But his first hit of his career was a home run, as he takes a 2-seamer, 2 balls, and 1 strike. So when you come out to the world of Major League Baseball with a home run, what do you top it with? You top it with a game with 2 home runs, which is also what he did in the final game of the series in Denver. In this case, though, he will ground out to the pitcher 1-3, and that'll be out number 2. So we'll hear more from Baez later, but in the meantime, here's Anthony Rizzo. So we go from the prospect to the star of the Cubs. First pitch to him, a changeup, inner half of the plate. No balls, 1 strike. Anthony Rizzo batting .281 with 25 home runs and 61 RBIs. His first plate appearance of the tournament in the win against the Tigers, he hit a home run to right field. And he was a very integral part of the Cubs getting that first round win and upsetting the number 1 seed Tigers. Now, if you've been following this tournament, the Tigers have they've recuperated from the loss to the Cubs. But it was still a very big win for the Cubs moving forward because now they don't have any losses just yet. Rizzo fouling off the 0-2. He'll get another one here from Buehrle. Kick and delivery. And he'll take a cutter outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, as you would expect, an all-star for the Cubs this season. Represented the team in Minneapolis. But now he's back, and he pops one into left field. That will drop, and he's on with a 2-out single. So we take a look at it here on replay. Rizzo, very calm and collected, just waited for the right pitch to come in, and he hits it opposite field to keep the inning alive. And so that'll give us a chance to check out the shortstop, Starlin Castro. He too was an all-star, and it was his 3rd all-star appearance in 5 years in the majors. So it really tells you something about how well he has been playing. 4-seamer inside, half of the plate, no balls, 1 strike. Rizzo on first, 2 outs, still scoreless here in the top of the first from Toronto. I just have a feeling this is going to be a very good game. The Blue Jays were very dominant against the Pirates in their first game, and the Cubs are out here tenacious as they can. The shortstop hits it to the shortstop, and the forced play at second will end the inning. So that'll do it for the first inning. 1 hit, but nothing more. Toronto will get their first chance at the plate after this. Welcome back. Bottom of the first here from Toronto. And here is a look at the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. Reyes, Cabrera, and Bautista all due up. Batting cleanup will be the catcher Deanna Navarro, who was the player of the game in that win against the Pirates. They'll be taking on the right fielder Edwin Jackson. He is the number 1 starter for the Chicago Cubs, and his numbers are not looking like one of a number one starter. 5.66 ERA, 6-11 record. As the fielders throw the ball around the horn, we'll take a look at that defensive lineup presented by Majestic. They'll make sure to keep the earned runs down for Edwin and get this win here in Toronto. Interleague matchup here in the Eastern region, and the home team will get their first chance to swing at the plate. Here is the bearded one from the Dominican Republic, Jose Reyes. First pitch from Jackson. Lofted in there, a curveball for strike one. Edwin Jackson wasn't always the number one starter for the Cubs. He was kind of thrown into the position with the mid-season trade of the actual opening day starter, Jeff Samardzija, as well as Jason Hamill, as the changeup falls in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. So with those two gone, it's just a matter of next man up, and you look at the starting rotation, and it's pretty interesting to see who's left. As Reyes fouls that one off. But in the case of any sport, you just have to deliver when you're called upon. Reyes hits this one weakly, collected by Castro, and he's able to make the out just in time. So leadoff hitter not able to reach base, and we have 1 out to start things off. Here is the left fielder, Melky Cabrera. First pitch to Cabrera, a 4-seamer low in the zone for strike one. Cabrera was able to reel off a double as well as a home run in that win at Pittsburgh. We'll take another 4-seamer. No balls, 2 strikes, already in the hole. Overall, he went 2 of 4 on the day. And if it wasn't for Navarro's 3-run shot, as another fastball is too low for a ball, if it wasn't for Deanna Navarro's double and 3-run home run, Cabrera definitely could have been up there for player of the game in the 6-1 victory for the Blue Jays. Cabrera puts this one in play, lifts up into left field, and collected by Coughlin for out number 2. So here is the hard-hitting right fielder, Jose Bautista. First pitch he'll take is a 2-seamer for a ball. 2 strikeouts against Pittsburgh, grounded out on his first at-bat. And even despite going 0-3 in his first 3 at-bats, the Pirates still chose to intentionally walk him the 4th time around, and he smacks this one high into left field up against the warning track. Coughlin's under it, and gone over the fence. Home run by Bautista, and that is why pitchers still tend to intentionally walk Bautista even when he goes over. So Melky Cabrera flies out to left, didn't get enough on it. And then Bautista flies to left. Coughlin tries to make a play of it at the wall. Times it right, but he just doesn't have the hops. I think they made a movie about that. So 1-0 here in favor of the Blue Jays off the solo jack by Jose Bautista. Deanna Navarro will see if he can keep the offensive train moving. Get out the tape measure. That one was a wall scraper, 341 feet. As this one smacked into right center field, and it will drop into the glove of Alcantara. So 4 up, but 3 down, and the Blue Jays come away with 1 run off the solo jack here in the bottom of the first. We head to the top of the second, 1-0 in favor of the home team. Justin Ruggiano stepping up to the plate to start off the second inning. First pitch from Buehrle, change up just outside for ball one. In the bottom of the first, Edwin Jackson, for the most part, did a good job at retiring the side. He just put a pitch in the wrong place for Jose Bautista, who was able to yank it to left field to give the Blue Jays their only run so far. This one fouled off in the opposite direction. 1 ball and 1 strike to Justin Ruggiano. And Ruggiano makes contact, puts it in about the same spot. So another souvenir for the fans that have showed up here today. And it's a pretty good crowd between the loyal Blue Jays fans and the Cubs fans that just tend to travel well and tend to be nationwide in general. We got a good crowd and everybody's wearing blue. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ruggiano. Talked with Rick Renteria today, what he said when he was setting up the lineup here against the left-hander Buehrle. He had a little bit of trouble determining, and hold that thought as this one's knocked to right center field and gone. Justin Ruggiano with a solo shot of his own to lead off the second inning. It is tied at 1. Oh, I felt it in my bones when I woke up this morning that this was going to be a good one. What I was going to say actually alluded to what just happened here. Rick Renteria was trying to figure out what to do with the outfield and who to make the designated hitter. And he decided to put Ruggiano in right because Junior Lake, who is the designated hitter, wasn't used to playing right field here at the major league level. So Ruggiano, who hasn't really been utilized yet in the outfield, shows off his bat and ties the game up back at 1. Wellington Castillo, next man up, takes a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Wellington Castillo, 8 home runs, 32 RBIs, 237 average. So not the best season in the world in terms of pure batting, but he still has a tendency to bring in some runs. Ruggiano, by the way, only 4 home runs coming into this game. Tournament stats don't mesh with regular season stats, so that is Ruggiano's first home run, if I'm not mistaken, of the tournament. Two balls and 1 strike to Castillo. And he'll put back the ball here. That will drop into the gap in left field. Should be extra bases. It is. Castillo's turning the corner, and he will walk into second, standing up. So the Cubs trying to get something going here in the top of the second as the first 2 batters of the inning are able to pick up extra base hits, with Ruggiano taking all the bases with his extra base hit. Now, as I talked about Javier Baez in the first inning, about prospects that Cubs fans and baseball fans have been excited about, Arizmendi Alcantara is another one of them. And we'll have to get to him later because apparently he pops up into left field. This one playable for Cabrera. That's out number 1. There, Castillo's going to stay put at second. I was going to say everybody stays put, but Castillo's the only one. And he is left stranded off the fly out to left by Alcantara. So here comes the designated hitter, Junior Lake. Usually starting in left or center, but Coughlin cemented himself in left. And Rick Renteria said he preferred having Alcantara get some reps in center. 4-seamer in for ball 1. Now at the minor league level, Junior Lake hasn't had a problem with moving around and practicing in different positions. He's taken infield practice and outfield practice. But in a tournament setting like this, Rick Renteria didn't want to take too many chances. Though you can call having a rookie in Alcantara out in center field as a chance. 1-1 here to Junior Lake. Lake has actually been struggling, to say the least. 216 with 101 strikeouts on the year, and that's up against 9 home runs and 25 RBIs, as well as 10 walks as he fouls this one off. So essentially for every 1 walk, he struck out 10 times. And that's not necessarily something that you want in the field all the time. This one hit into the gap into right field. Isn't enough to bring Castillo home, but it is enough to put Lake on with a single. So 1-out single for Junior Lake, and the designated hitter is able to get a hit and keep this inning alive. Four batters at the plate, only 1 put out. So Castillo at third, Lake at first. That's runners on the corners for the third baseman, Luis Valbuena. And this one, a shot to right field just by the foul pole, and that one is gone. So Castillo's going to come in 90 feet, and Lake is going to take the trip all the way around, along with Valbuena right behind him. To be quite honest with you, Luis Valbuena isn't really all that great at hitting left-handed pitchers, but this home run you see on the replay kind of disproves that. It is now 4-1 in favor of the Chicago Cubs. And we restart the lineup. Here's Chris Coughlin. He'll take a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. That was a 362-foot home run. But with high fences and high walls here inside of the Rogers Center, who knows how much further they would have went if there wasn't a concourse in the way. Coughlin fouls this one off. 1 ball, base is empty after Valbuena clears them all up. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris Coughlin. Here's the pitch. That one fouled off as well. It's admittedly been absolutely amazing seeing how the Cubs have done so far in this tournament with against teams such as the Tigers, who they took care of, and how they're doing early on here against the Blue Jays, as this 2-seamer's low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Coughlin hits this one down the third base line, and the out made at first for out number 2. On the connection from Lowry to Francisco. So here's Javier Baez. He grounded out to the pitcher his last time up, and he's facing 2 outs here. He swings on the first pitch. Francisco chasing it down, and this should be into his glove, which it is. So 2 quick outs to end the inning. But Buehrle gives up 4 runs, including 2 homers in opposite directions. It's now 4-1 heading into the bottom of the second. Here is the man who made the last out of the last half inning, Juan Francisco. And he's ready to step up to the plate and hope to begin a Blue Jays rally. They are behind big, 4-1, as this one is fouled off. Here's the 0-1 from Jackson. That one, a slider, veers inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Francisco's played both corner infield positions, and he's also taken in some swings at the designated hitter position. He'll face the 1-1 and hit it right up center field. Vacuumed up by Castro, and the out's made at first for out number 1. So next up here is Brett Lawrie, who's just back off of the disabled list. First pitch from Jackson, a 2-seamer veering high. Lawrie was put on the 15-day DL with a strained oblique. So good to see that he's okay now. He'll take the 0-1 and foul it off. He wasn't missed too much in that game against Pittsburgh. Starting in his spot at third was Danny Valencia, who had recently been acquired from Kansas City. Check swing on the fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. But now, Lawrie back in his rightful spot, and he's going to see if he can contribute here at home. Again, the Blue Jays are down after a big inning by the Cubs, 4-1. Brett Lawrie, only 7 months older than I am, born in Langley, British Columbia. He'll pop this one up, and that one will foul off as well, as he is dueling here against Edwin Jackson. He's batting .247 in 70 games, including 12 home runs and 38 RBIs. So this one popped up into right and collected by Ruggiano for out number 2. And here is the designated hitter, Colby Rasmus. Rasmus did not play in that game against Pittsburgh, so he's making his first appearance here in the tournament. And the first pitch he sees, he will foul directly back. Due up next is Ryan Goins, who did not move on that foul ball. He was actually quite reserved as that rocketed past him up against the backstop. Rasmus will keep the bat on his shoulder for the 0-1, and now he's in the hole 0-2 with 2 outs and the base is empty. No balls, 2 strikes to Colby Rasmus. Here's the pitch from Edwin Jackson. Inside, ties him up, and he goes down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Edwin Jackson in this game. We'll see how many more come as Edwin pitches a 3-up, 3-down inning. Here comes Anthony Rizzo up to the plate after his teammates delivered a 4-run second inning. Mark Buehrle is going to try to see if he can play damage control here against the rest of the lineup for however much longer he stays in the game. One ball and no strike here to Anthony Rizzo. And he'll take the changeup. Not swinging at the breaking ball there. Changeup veers outside. Three balls and no strikes here to Anthony Rizzo. Mark Buehrle in danger of walking the All-Star. Here's the pitch, and he'll foul that one off. That one probably would have been ball 4, but Rizzo's working in such a good area so far ahead in the count. He can swing at it, and he'll swing at this one too, but now the count is run full. Hope you have a present for the Fort Lauderdale native. Today is his birthday. August 8th, 1989. And as a present, Buehrle will give up a walk to him, and that's how we'll lead off the inning. And so next up here is Starlin Castro. He grounded out back in the first. He grounded into a force play. He wasn't thrown out. Rizzo was to end that inning. But of course, in the scorer's book, you just put down an FC, put a slash towards first, and you move on with your day. Here's the first pitch to Castro. That one a four-seamer. Outer half painting the black. Umpire will call it a ball. The Cubs sporting their new alternates that are based off of the classic jerseys that they'll be wearing throughout the 2014 season. As Castro fouls this one off. Blue Jays also getting into the throwback spirit as well, wearing their late 90s era throwbacks. Change up outside. Those throwbacks aren't thrown too far back. That's one brand generation between their actual current uniforms and the uniforms that they're sporting now. That buffer, as Castro fouls this one off down the third base line, was that Jays era where they made the Blue Jay look more intimidating. They wore black alternate uniforms, had the gray, light blue, and black colors, which lasted throughout the 2000s. But they decided very recently that they'll go back to a more modern style based off of the styles of their very decorated past. Castro continuing to foul off pitches here. Count tied up at 2 with Rizzo at first and nobody out. Takes the changeup wisely, count full. Due up next, Justin Ruggiano. He got the party started with the leadoff solo shot. So Buehrle probably more than happy to face him again. He wants some revenge. But first, here's Castro on the payoff pitch. This one smacked. Might find some grass. It won't on the diving catch by Anthony Goins. Rizzo will have to retreat back to first. What a dive by Goins for out number 1. Oh, mercy. We got to see a replay of that one. Castro hit it. Looked like it was good wood. A lesser fielder would have let that drop and just played it, but Anthony Goins out there getting the job done for out number 1. And here comes Justin Ruggiano. Solo shot, as I said before, to lead off the second. He's going to see if he can make lightning strike inside of this retractable roof stadium. And I got to agree with the scoreboard there. Definitely a great catch. That's going to end up on SportsCenter as Ruggiano takes a pitch high for ball 1. It'll be interesting to see the strategy that Buehrle will utilize, Buehrle along with Navarro, what they do against Ruggiano, if they're going to just pitch at him or if they're going to pitch around him in fear of him gaining more power on this at-bat again. Four-seamer outer half of the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. I was fascinated myself with the talk of the Blue Jays uniform history, so I wanted to confirm how long that sleek Jays era lasted. That was from 2004 to 2011. So in 2012, the Blue Jays went to the uniform style that they usually wear. For instance, what they wore when they were in Pittsburgh. This one popped up into right field, being chased down at the warning track and caught against the wall. The Blue Jays outfielders just having a penchant for web gems here as Ruggiano was out on the catch by Jose Bautista. So we'll have to take a look at that on replay. Bautista showing no fear of the wall inside of his home park. He's able to get the catch, and he braces for impact and hangs on for out number 2. The jerseys that the Blue Jays are wearing now, and then this is the last I'll speak of it, I promise, lasted for 2 seasons from 2001 to 2002. They wore a slightly modified version of it for 4 seasons prior from 1997 to 2000, as this one is vacuumed up. A rocket hit by Wellington Castillo to Jose Bautista to end the inning. Still 4-1 heading into the bottom of the 3rd. Welcome back to Toronto. Ryan Goins will make his first appearance here for the Blue Jays. First pitch from Jackson. Curveball lost in there for ball 1. As opposed to the Cubs, who ended up resetting their lineup in the second, only 7 Blue Jays have stepped up to the plate in the first 2 innings. Ryan Goins is in the 8th spot, and he's about to face the 1-0 pitch. He'll swing on it, and this will drop just foul. Just hooks foul, and that would have been trouble for Coghlan because he would not have been able to get there. So 1 ball and 1 strike here for Ryan Goins. Kick and delivery. Ooh, swing and a miss. A little too early there on the 2-seamer by Goins. Goins on the year has been in and out as a utility second baseman. Batting .202 on the year. And that's not going to help the average if this was to be a regular season game. He's tied up on the pitch. That is the 2nd strikeout for Edwin Jackson, and that's how we'll start off the 3rd inning. Edwin Jackson ended the 2nd inning with a strikeout, and he starts off the 3rd inning with the strikeout. And here's Anthony Gose, who just made an unbelievable catch to get out number 1 in the top of the 3rd inning against Starlin Castro. We'll see how he does with the bat for the first time today, as he takes another curveball on the first pitch. 1 ball, no strike. Anthony Gose pretty much platooning with Colby Rasmus in that center field position. Both are very capable, as this one rockets is down the first base line for a foul. Both very capable. Gose showed you why, as they'll take a 4-seamer. Gose started at center field last time too. It was 1 for 4 in that game against Pittsburgh with a strikeout. And he'll pop this one into the air, drops into the glove of Coghlan for out number 2. So early on here, Edwin Jackson not letting that 5.66 ERA number get to him. He's just been dealing out here. He has faced all 9 batters in a matter of 3 innings. If it wasn't for that home run by Bautista, he would be pitching a no-hitter. And here is Jose Reyes to restart the lineup here in the 3rd inning. 2 outs, nobody on. The Blue Jays, however, have not been able to generate any offense early on, as they were against the Pittsburgh Pirates. By this juncture, with 2 outs in the 3rd, they were already up 2-0. But now they're behind by 3. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Jose Reyes. 2-seamer. 2 balls, 1 strike. Reyes grounded to short his last time up. He's batting .282 on the year. And once he gets on base, and it's always a problem, he leads the team with 21 stolen bases. And it's interesting to see the hierarchy of base stealers. You got Reyes with 21, you got Gose with 12, and then after that you have 2 Blue Jays with 5. That's Cabrera and Bautista. So you know which Blue Jay is going to be trouble when he gets on the base paths. As he smacks this 2-2 into the air, traveling to left field in the gap, it will drop over the scoreboard. And another solo shot for the Blue Jays. Reyes going to take the walk alone, but anything will help here as they try to cut into the deficit. It is now only a 2-run game. I don't know what it is, if it's the Canadian air or what, but we have home run derby here in Toronto. That is the 4th home run of the game on either side. We started things off with a Jose Bautista home run, of course. You have the Justin Ruggiano home run along with the Luis Valbuena home run in the second for the Cubs. And now you have one by Jose Reyes. He comes into this game with 8 home runs in the MLB regular season. That is his first one of the tournament. Here's Melky Cabrera. And as I said before, he hit a home run. So Toronto, needless to say, leading the tournament with home runs at 4. One by Cabrera in the 6th against Pittsburgh. A 3-run shot by Navarro in the 8th against Pittsburgh. This solo one by Bautista, and then the one that just happened, as this one lines down the first base line. 4 for Toronto in this tournament. 1 ball and 1 strike, though, with 2 outs and the base is empty, as this one's fouled off as well. Six combined runs, and we're about 3 innings into this game, a complete 3 innings. That 4-seamer just hit the dirt there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 on the slider outside for a full count. Most combined runs we've had in this tournament is 12 on several occasions, the last time being the Mariners' win at Oakland 7-5. The other 2 times with the combined 12 runs were also 7-5 scores, Minnesota beating the Dodgers, these Cubs beating the Tigers, and all of them were lower-seeded upsets. It's been really interesting looking at the patterns of these final scores as Cabrera fouls this one off down the third base line. And what a tournament it's been. Double elimination in the pro ranks. You just never know what's going to happen. I mean, hey, it's the Cubs, 8th seed in the winner's bracket, and they're leading, and they retire the side on the backwards K to Melky Cabrera. So Reyes takes 1 yard, but the Blue Jays are still behind 4-2 heading into the top of the 4th. Arizmendi Alcantara starting off the 4th inning here. Flew out to left his last time up. He's going to try to do better this time. And he does, as he'll hit this one into left field. Bobbled a little bit there by Cabrera, but still a base hit to lead off the inning as Alcantara swings on the first pitch. Usually you don't do that, but it proves to work there. Mark Buehrle, 3 innings in, has already thrown 58 pitches. And here's Junior Lake, who singled his last time up and then eventually came back around and scored on the Valbuena home run. Todd Rettman already in the bullpen for the Blue Jays to help his starter as this one is fouled off. The pitching performances between Blue Jay starters like night and day. R.A. Dickey pitched a complete game. The only one of the tournament so far. That knuckleball, man, the Pirates just couldn't do anything with it. For Buehrle, however, the Cubs have taken care of business so far. They scored 4 runs in the second, and that's been all they've needed so far. No balls and 2 strikes to Junior Lake, as he'll take the changeup inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Junior Lake started in left in that game against Toronto. Ruggiano was the designated hitter then, with Shearholtz, who's since been designated for assignment, starting out in right. Cutter taken by Lake. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lake had 3 strikeouts to start off his time in the game. 1 looking, one swinging, one looking, and then reeled off 2 singles in the 8th and 9th inning respectively to help his team win that game against Detroit. He was very cautious early on. It took a while for him to heat up, but when his team needed him most, he came through. We'll see what he can do here. 2-2 count. He'll take the pitch on the curveball, runs the count full. Valbuena's due up next. Full count. Alcantara on first. Lake looking to move some base runners here against Mark Buehrle. Payoff pitch. Change up in the dirt. That will walk Lake. So Lake having a day, nothing at all like his time in Detroit. And Mark Buehrle is done for the day after 3 innings officially of work. And that is not something you want to see out of your starter. And Mark Buehrle actually having a very good season. As Todd Redmond will come out, we'll take a look at him. 1-4 record in 32 appearances, 2.07 ERA. So we'll see what that means. Mark Buehrle had a hot start to start off the season. His record 11-8, 3.27 ERA, 85 strikeouts. Never much of a strikeout pitcher compared to other pitchers. But he just could not come through today for the Blue Jays. So the rest of the way here, the remaining 6 innings of this game are going to be in the hands of the Blue Jays bullpen. You do not want to see the bullpen trying to handle the latter 2/3 of a game. And that's what's going to happen here as Valbuena's up at the plate. This is the first batter Redmond's facing. 4-seamer in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Alcantara on second and Lake on first. 4-2 in favor of the Cubs. Looking to put some more runs on now that the starter is away. Pitch from Redmond, swing and a miss. And Redmond starts things off with a strikeout. So Redmond starts things off with a K. Buehrle's first retirement was a fly out to center field. So we'll see what this means moving forward for Todd Redmond as Chris Coghlan comes up to the plate. The Cubs lineup restarts for the 3rd time this afternoon. First pitch, sinker, sinks into the glove of Navarro for ball 1. Coghlan has not joined the hit parade. He flew out, as I just said before, against Buehrle to start off the game, and he grounded out to third back in the 2nd inning. So he's back here in the 4th. He'll swing. This one deflects off the mound, and it looks like he has hit into a double play. He has not. He's able to advance Alcantara. Lake's out on the force play of the 6-4 variety. But Coghlan will reach on a fielder's choice. So still hasn't joined the hit parade, but he has gotten on base. And here's Javier Baez, who himself has not joined the hit parade. 2 outs with runners on the corners. Baez looking to get some RBIs here. Currently at this juncture, Javier Baez has 5 RBIs on the season with 3 home runs. This one fouled off. Here's a bit of small sample size theater. In 3 games and 14 at-bats, all official plate appearances, Baez is batting .286. His on-base percentage is .286. His slugging percentage is .929 as this one veers foul. So Baez has been off to a very interesting start. We'll see how he regresses to the mean, if he ever does. This one deflects off of third base, lines into left field, and that will bring in a run. So Baez gets himself an RBI single, and that will make it 5-2 in favor of the Cubs. And Anthony Rizzo steps up to the plate. He's gotten on base twice. He singled back in the first. He's walked back in the third. The birthday boy is going to look to keep the party going for the Chicago Cubs. One ball, no strikes. 2 outs to Anthony Rizzo. Coughlin at second, Baez at first, and the sinker's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rizzo puts this one in play, right to Francisco, 3 unassisted to end the inning. But not without the Cubs coming away with 1 more run. It is now 5-2 here in Toronto. What can the Blue Jays do heading into the bottom of the 4th? Welcome back to Toronto. Jose Bautista here to lead off the bottom of the 4th. He hit a home run his last time up. Let's see what he can do here. Seeing if he can get his team back into it. They are down by 3 runs. Two pitches, 2 swings, fouls this one off. Bautista's in the hole 0-2. Swing and a miss, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Bautista strikes out. That is number 4 for Edwin Jackson, who has been going to work all day. And if it wasn't for those 2 solo shots, he would be pitching a no-hitter. All of them up and in. And they are Bautista's undoing. And you saw on the show track that they were all in the zone. So even if Bautista kept the bat on his shoulder, he still probably would have been working his way back to the dugout. Here's Diano Navarro. Melky Cabrera actually struck out to end the 3rd inning. Diano Navarro, however, flew out to center back in the 1st. Now, we've seen roller coasters of games, just back and forth games throughout this tournament. So nothing's set in stone here as this one's fouled off. But if this current score holds, or at least the Cubs lead holds, Toronto losing for them would not be the worst thing in the world. If they lose, they would go on to host the Miami Marlins, as this one's fouled off. They would go on to host the Miami Marlins, and they would be doing that on the 10th. So that's Sunday. They'd be right back here in Toronto, hoping to stay in contention of winning the Eastern region. Full count here to Diano Navarro. 1 out, bases empty here in the bottom of the 4th, and the Blue Jays working from behind. Not something these Blue Jays fans expected when they came to the Rogers Center today. That one fouled off, and you can just see the mass of humanity over there. It's pretty much a packed house here between Cubs fans and Blue Jays fans. A lot of blue. And those fans will watch Navarro take his base. That's the first walk given up by Edwin Jackson. And so here is Juan Francisco. He himself grounded out to short back in the 2nd inning. Gonna see if he can get something going here. He'll take the changeup. Juan Francisco, another native of the Dominican Republic. a lot of Dominican natives on this lineup here for the Blue Jays, is Rizzo is able to get the out at first himself and then throw to second base and get the out there. So we end the fourth. No offense from the Blue Jays. Raymond Sims here from Toronto. So glad that you could join me. It's been quite a game here. The Cubs, trying to be the Cinderella of the Coliseum baseball tournament, are currently up 5-2. Here's Starlin Castro to start off the inning. First pitch from Redmond, a slider in there for ball one. Castro was actually on the back end of a double play, and a very interesting one. Tell you about it here after the 1-0. Sinker outside at the knees, 2 balls, no strike. What happened was Juan Francisco grounded down to the first baseman, Rizzo, who was able to step on the base, get the out at first, and then throw to second where Castro was covering. Castro will smack this one into left field, carrying, hits right in front of the warning track off of the wall, and that'll be extra bases to lead off the inning. So after assisting on the double play, Castro then gets on base with a double. So here's Justin Ruggiano. He's been taking pitches out to the outfield. His first one went over the fence. His second one was an amazing catch against the wall by Jose Bautista. This one fouled back. So Ruggiano already in the hole 0-2. He'll take a sinker inside. Knows better than to swing at that one. Has Castro at second. You can put one in the right place. Pickoff attempt, speaking of Castro. If Ruggiano can put one in the right place, he'll be able to bring Castro home. Castro pretty speedy. But the Austin native just trying to see if he can at least get a hit on the 1-2. Broken bat. This one veers foul. So it'll be a foul ball, and they'll have to come back and get a new bat. 1 ball, 2 strike. Fouls another one off. Bat stays intact. Four-seamer outside. 2 balls, no, in 2 strikes. Another pickoff attempt. Castro safe at second again. Ruggiano started off much of his baseball career down in Florida, debuted with the Devil Rays, who became the Rays the next year. Then went in the minors for a couple of seasons before coming back to the Rays in 2011. Went on to the Miami Marlins for 2 years, and now he's with the Cubs in his first season. Reaches on the slider, and he'll go down on strikes. Second strikeout for Todd Redmond, as that is out number 1. Redmond just trying to get out of the inning without giving up too much. He hasn't given up an earned run yet, at least by the scoring standards, as Alcantara was Buehrle's responsibility. So he's trying to just keep it that way. As the first pitch into Castillo is low for a ball. Castillo hit a double back in the second, and he'll take a slider inside. On the second time up, he lined out to Bautista over and right. So a 2-0 count here. Castillo trying to make more happen. Cubs already up 5-2 here in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the 2-0 from Redmond. Sinker looked pretty good, but Castillo doesn't swing at it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Due up next is Alcantara, who singled and came home. Redmond will much rather have Alcantara come in with 2 outs. And that might be a possibility if this is played right, and it is. Reyes reaches out for it, turns his body, throws all his might into it, and is able to get the out at first. So here is Arizmendi Alcantara up with 2 outs, and Castro still waiting at second. Castro hit a double to lead off the inning, and 2 Cubs have come up and have been unable to advance him. We'll see if Alcantara is just the man for the job. First pitch in there for a ball. 1-0 count. 2 outs. Cubs ahead 5-2 here in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Alcantara batting .240. 11 RBIs. In search of his first one of the tournament. Won't get it there. Swings and misses on the sinker. And now Redmond looking to put Arizmendi away. The 1-2. In the dirt. Goes wild, but not wild enough. Trapped by Navarro. Here's the 2-2. Inside, Singer runs the count full. If Alcantara is able to reach, Junior Lake, as you can see, is due up next. Alcantara from the Dominican Republic debuted with the Cubs on July 9th, and he will take a seat as he swings and misses to end the inning. 3 strikeouts for Todd Redmond, just trying to keep the peace here as the Blue Jays are behind 5-2. Brett Lawrie, the Canadian, leading off the inning here against Edwin Jackson and the Cubs. First pitch in there for a strike. 5-2 in favor of the Cubs. It's been a good game here, blue on blue. Or bleu et bleu, since we're in Canada, French Canadian translation. Lawrie in the hole 0-2 against Edwin Jackson. He'll take a slider for ball 1. Lawrie, in his only other time up, flew out to right. The bats just haven't really been producing here just yet for the Blue Jays. As that one's in the dirt on the 4-seamer. And the fact that that is a fact is just baffling, considering that the Blue Jays reeled off 6 runs in their win over Pittsburgh. Here's the 2-2 to Lawrie. Changeup runs the count full. Colby Rasmus due up next. Edwin Jackson at 62 pitches. Here's number 63, the payoff. Lawrie puts it in play into the glove of Jackson to Rizzo to complete the putout. So here's Colby Rasmus, struck out back in the 2nd inning, looking to make good here in the 5th. First pitch from Jackson. Lofted in there and lined out to Rizzo. So much for that. Good contact by Rasmus. Right time, right place for Rizzo. Not a problem, just stuck out that right hand. And the ball found his glove. So here's Ryan Goins. First pitch, a 4-seamer. That one looked dead middle there. for strike one. Ryan Goins, a Austin area product from Round Rock, home of the Round Rock Express, AAA affiliate of the Rangers. But he's from Round Rock, Texas, went to high school there, and then went to college at Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist, a school that is not Division I in most sports, but plays Division I baseball. Blue Jays drafted Goins 4th round in 2009. And as Goins moves out of the way of that pitch, he made his debut August 23rd, 2013, just before the September roster expansion last year. So now he's found his way into the 25-man roster, despite the fact he usually just comes in every so often. He's only played 40 games in the regular season. Almost all of them at second base. He's played a little bit of short as well. He's facing a full count here against Edwin Jackson with 2 outs, looking to keep the inning alive. He will not as he swings out of his shoes. And the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. Edwin Jackson going to work here for the Cubs. They are up 5-2. Welcome back to Toronto. Winners bracket action here. Cubs taking on the Blue Jays. The Cubs, the number 8 seed in this tournament, against the number 5 seed Toronto Blue Jays. That 4-5 matchup between the Blue Jays and Pirates, that did not look like a 4-5 matchup. Meanwhile, the Cubs playing like a number 1 seed, beating the Tigers in late innings and going to town early on the Blue Jays. Now they're just trying to play keep away with the lead. 2-0 count here to Junior Lake. Slider in there, 2 balls, 1 strike. Junior fouls that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here's the 2-2. And the sinker low runs the count full. And the sinker drops in there. Lake doesn't think to swing, and he'll pay for it, as that is another strikeout for Todd Redmond, his 4th in 40 pitches. So for every pitch, he's throwing a K. Or for every 10 pitches, he's throwing a K. Maybe not the best at math. Here's a look at Luis Valbuena, who back in the 2nd inning took 1 yard up against the foul pole and then up against the concourse and back into the field of play. He then went on a strikeout in the 4th. Valbuena was the first batter Redmond faced. We'll see if he can do better this time around after the Cubs have batted around. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 out, bases empty here in the top of the 6th. Sinker outside. You think this game is good? We got more baseball for you here on the Coliseum Sports Network. 2nd game of our doubleheader will be out in the city by the bay. Houston and San Francisco. Another one of those 8 seeds getting an upset. That was a very good opening day here for the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. Both of the 8 seeds taking care of business. The Athletics have since lost to the Mariners and are now eliminated from the tournament. Here's a 3-0. Make that 4-0, and Valbuena will take his base. So Valbuena's done a little bit of everything. He's hit a home run. He's struck out swinging, and now he's taking a walk as Chris Coughlin will come up to the plate, resetting the lineup for the 4th time today in the top of the 6th inning. It's a pitch to Coughlin on the sinker. 1 ball, no strikes. Valbuena has yet to steal a base, but he's going to here. Well, it was a hit and run, and they'll choose to make the play at first. And it was just a ground out. It didn't look like he was really trying to, sacrifice himself for Valbuena. There's a good chance that even if Coughlin kept the bat on his shoulder, Valbuena was still going. So here's Baez up at the plate. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th, and Valbuena in scoring position. I was going to say Valbuena has yet to steal a base this season. He's tried twice and failed. So if Coughlin didn't swing, Lord only knows what would have happened. Probably would have been caught stealing. Valbuena has a little bit of speed, but not that much, and as you saw in the speed and steal stats presented by MLB 14 The Show, he doesn't really have much of a tendency to steal in the first place. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Javier Baez. Hit an RBI single his last time up. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kick and delivery from Redmond. Slider outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Man on second, and the Cubs are up 5-2. Looking to extend the lead here. A well-placed hit by Baez could give him his 2nd run batted in of the game. He'll take the slider, and that'll run the count full. If Baez is able to reach Anthony Rizzo, due up next. Rizzo has reached base twice, and his last time up grounded out to the first baseman. 3-2. Baez puts this one in play. Rounded up by Reyes. 6-3. No, sir. Reaching on the air is Baez, and he's in at second. Oh, man, a routine play gone awry by the usually efficient Jose Reyes. Francisco was there waiting for it, and then, as you see on replay, up and over. So, we'll say that's a single and reach second on an error, and here is Anthony Rizzo. E6, and already in the 6th inning, they are going to intentionally walk Anthony Rizzo. So the Blue Jays choose to walk the bases full. So they have a force play at every position. So fairly sound unless Castro can get a hit here and extend the lead. The Cubs are up 5-2 with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Slider veers outside for ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Castro. He'll take a sinker in. Redmond already in trouble. And as you see on the pitch distribution, it's right down the middle. 29 balls, 29 strikes. He's about to throw an odd-numbered pitch, so something's got to give here. 2-0 count to Castro. Here it is. Sinker. Too low for ball 3. Redmond in danger of walking a run in. Here's the pitch. That one. Strike, 3 balls, 1 strike. Jose Reyes, 14 errors out in the field. Makes his first one of the tournament at a bad time where the Blue Jays are trying to hang on. And there it is. Valbuena comes home on the walk. He got on base with the walk, and he'll come home on a walk. And it is now 6-2. And that'll do it for Todd Redmond. As Dustin McGowan will step up to the plate. Dustin McGowan in 2013, look at those stats. 25 appearances and then no record to show for it whatsoever. That's interesting there for the middle reliever McGowan. But in 2013, he does have a record to his name as Ruggiano fouls this one off. McGowan 4-3 on the year with a 4.39 ERA. So Blue Jays fans hoping that above average ERA or below average ERA doesn't haunt the Blue Jays here in their defensive half of the 6th inning. But the bases are full here with 2 outs. Ruggiano hit a home run back in the 2nd inning. Can he generate any more runs here? The 1-1. He'll put it in play, rounded up by Reyes, and no error there. He'll make the force out at second. So a run comes home, but otherwise, the Blue Jays keep it under control. Heading into the bottom of the 6th, they are down 6-2. Anthony Goins steps up to the plate for the Blue Jays, and they're going to need to find their bats very quickly because they're falling further and further behind. 2 solo shots by the Blue Jays have not been enough so far heading into the bottom of the 6th. A home run by Jose Bautista in the 1st, and then a home run by Jose Reyes back in the 3rd. That has been all the offense that has been generated by these Toronto Blue Jays. Otherwise, everybody else has been retired. Almost everybody else. Navarro drew a walk back in the 4th. 4-seamer outside to Goins. That'll tie the count up 1 ball, 1 strike. Four-seamer veers incredibly high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Goins puts this one in play. Supposed to be rounded up by Baez, and he misplays it. We'll see if that'll be an E4. That could very well be a welcome to the league rookie moment out there in the field for Javier Baez. In the meantime, here is Jose Reyes to restart the lineup. As I said before, he hit a home run back in the 3rd, and here it is. That one's carried. All of the home runs in this game, and there have been 4 of them, have been beautiful. But Reyes is the last one to take it yard back in the 3rd inning. That is, in fact, an E4. Goins is on with an error. And Reyes, who's 1 for 2 today, hasn't been up to the plate since the 3rd, is going to see if he can get any more offense going. Four-seamer in there, 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike here to Jose Reyes. Goins at first, and Reyes had to move out of the way of that one. Watch out. Two-one from Jackson. Two-seamer inside, inner half of the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Look at Ghost over there, waiting for some movement. And Reyes puts this one in play. Baez doesn't field an error on that one as Reyes grounds out into a double play. So Baez makes up for the error as he gets the double play going. Good job, rookie. So 2 out, and here comes Melky Cabrera. Big part of the Blue Jays offense in their game against the Pirates. He hasn't been able to do anything today as he takes a very good pitch in there. No balls, 1 strike. That one could have gone yard, but Cabrera keeps the bat on his shoulders. Cabrera flew out to left in the first and struck out looking in the third. Going to have to take the bat off his shoulder. He does as this one lines to third. And an easy out, 5-3. 3 up, 3 down. Once again for the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's getting late early here. The Cubs up 6-2. Welcome back to Toronto. Here's a look at the game summary in case you're just joining us. And the Cubs, the 8th seed here in the winner's bracket, are storming their way through. They're up by 4. Just in case you thought it was a fluke for them to come back there in the 9th inning against Detroit, they are making the doubters believe. Here's Wellington Castillo here to start off the top of the 7th as we get into the final third of this game. Still plenty of baseball left for the Blue Jays, but the Cubs are trying to keep them at arm's length and come out with this victory. The winner of this game will take on the winner of the Nationals Brewers winner's bracket matchup, which happens tomorrow. This one grounds to the pitcher, and McGowan able to get out number 1 on the 1-3 putout. So here's Arizmendi Alcantara, who struck out his last time up, working with 1 out and empty bases. He singled back in the 4th and eventually came home on the RBI single by Javier Baez. He'll take a strike. No balls, 1 strike. Two-seamer taken for ball 1. And Alcantara pops this one high in the air, playable, and an easy out. So another fly out to left field for the rookie. That'll be 2 outs. And here is the designated hitter, Junior Lake. 1 for 2 today with a single, a strikeout, and then he also had a walk back in the 4th inning. If Lake is retired, that'll be the first 3 up, 3 down inning in this entire game for the Cubs. They had 4 batters come up in the 1st inning. They had 7 come up in the 2nd. They had 4 in the 3rd, 6 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 7 in the 6th. So this would be, by comparison, a dead inning for the Cubs if Lake goes down here on the 0-2. He won't. Waste pitch, fastball outside for ball 1. Here's the 1-2 to Lake. That one in the dirt. Almost getting away from Navarro. And this one will drop into left field. So, no 3 up, 3 down inning for the Cubs. They got to have at least 4 batters in an inning. I guess that's what they're convinced about. McGowan not able to retire the side in 3. So here's Luis Valbuena. He has accounted for half of the Cubs' runs. No, he's accounted for 2/3 of the Cubs' runs, 4 of them. Hit a 3-run homer back in the second and walked home back in the previous inning. After reaching base on a walk. So you come back the way you went away. Change up at the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike. If Valbuena is able to reach, we'll restart the lineup with Coughlin stepping up to the plate. Swing and a miss on the 2-seamer. That's strike 2. The Cubs should be feeling pretty good about themselves as they are the lone Chicago team standing after the Marlins defeated the White Sox in the losers bracket matchup. Force play at second will put an end to the top of the 7th inning. Time to stretch, people, as the Blue Jays will be looking for runs here in the final third of the game. They're down 6-2. Welcome back to Toronto as we take a look at a replay. It was Jose Bautista that got this whole thing started. Got a solo shot to give the Blue Jays the lead 1-0, and man, that feels like ages ago. Edwin Jackson still up at the mound. He's had a heck of a game. As the first pitch is in there for strike 1. Bautista fouls off a pitch inside. And swing and a miss. So just like in the 4th inning, which I was just about to get to, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Bautista's done. And if you look at the pitch distribution, a lot of the work has been done with 4-seam fastballs. Sometimes you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to make sure you get the job done. So here's Deoner Navarro, who walked his last time up way back in the 4th inning. As the changeup is below the knees for ball 1. Edwin Jackson has only given up 2 hits in this game, and both of them went yard. That's about it. Going to look to continue that moving forward. Renteria does have Wesley Wright in the bullpen right now. Jackson not happy with those first 2 pitches as Castillo comes out and talks to him about it. Letting him know it's all right. I mean, he's gotten this far. 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. So no need to really beat himself up too much, but we'll see if things turn around here against Navarro as he's behind 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. 4-seamer inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. So that helped at least for that pitch. But Renteria hasn't had much of a reason to make a call to the bullpen. He's has some guys throwing just in case things go sideways. And I'm sure Blue Jays fans are hoping things go sideways. 2-seamer. Brushes back Navarro. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jackson trying to at least get through this batter here. Juan Francisco due up next. And he just won't. Second walk given up to Deoner Navarro. And I can't really tell you what it is with Navarro. But that is the second time that he's given up a walk to Navarro. Just like it was the second time he struck out Bautista. So Juan Francisco, his last time up, grounded into a double play that retired the side. We'll see if history repeats itself. That would be very eerie. It won't. Ball drops into left field. That'll advance the runners 90 feet. Then it's a one-out single for Juan Francisco. Francisco with his first hit of the tournament as he makes his first appearance. Brett Lawrie stepping out to the plate as the Blue Jays are trying to turn this into something. Oh, what poetic justice it would be if Lawrie, the Canadian, albeit from the opposite side of the country, is able to generate some runs for his home country's only team. And it's been his home country's only team since 2005. But we won't get into that right now. All we can say is you can catch episodes of the Expos Retro Dynasty on the Coliseum Sports Network. Currently on hiatus, but we'll be coming back soon. In the meantime, be sure to check out those first 2 episodes. Definitely a dandy, even though they do admittedly end in losses. No balls, 2 strikes here, however, to Lawrie. So much for the poetic justice. As this one jams him. It's going yard, but drops into the glove of Coghlan for out number 2. Lawrie jammed on the pitch, but that one almost dropped. It doesn't, though, and the Cubs are in business of retiring the side as the designated hitter Rasmus comes up to the plate. Rasmus got a good hit himself, so he can relate to Lawrie. That found its way into a Cub glove as Rasmus lined out to Rizzo his last time up. First pitch he sees, he fouls back. So Rasmus hopes this one gets past the defense. Here's the 0-1 as it fouls off. Edwin Jackson looking just a little bit shaky at 95 pitches, but only a little bit. He's still a strike away from retiring the side 7 innings in. And he won't just yet. 4-seamer in the dirt. Blue Jays have only left 1 on base, but that's really because they haven't generated that much offense to begin with. As this one fouls off. And another 4-seamer in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Jackson still a strike away from retiring the side, but that 1 strike he needs is not coming just yet. Can't get Rasmus to swing on pitches out of the zone. We'll see if he'll put one in here on the 2-2. He does, and jams Rasmus. Strikeout number 7. And that'll do it heading into the top of the 8th. 6-2 Cubs. The Cubs are up by 4 after a 4-run second inning and then runs in each of the 4th and 6th innings. Now they'll come into the top of the 8th hoping to get some insurance for Edwin Jackson, who's still in the game. In the meantime, the Blue Jays are already on their second reliever, Dustin McGowan, who throws a fastball in for ball 1. And this one popped up in the air, veers foul. Goes a couple rows into the stands. Almost filled to capacity here in Toronto. The last time we saw a sellout here in the tournament, the Dodgers took on the Padres where they lost 3-2. So Dodger Stadium was filled to watch a loss. Not looking good here for the Blue Jays, but the fans here in Toronto hoping that that does not happen to their beloved team. Justin McGowan starts things off with a strikeout to Chris Coughlin for out number 1. So here is second baseman Javier Baez. He'll take a four-seamer from McGowan for strike 1. Baez with a single, and he reached second base on an error. He'll take an 0-1, a fastball for ball 1. Baez committed an error himself back in the 6th inning. But then on the very next batter, was able to initiate a 4-6-3 double play. Baez swings and misses for strike 2. McGowan could get his second straight K here. And he won't on the 1-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2, and Baez stays alive by fouling off. Slider in the dirt, full count. McGowan out of house money. He's going to need to put Baez away here on the payoff pitch if he wants out number 2. Here it comes. Outside, Baez draws a walk. The chess match ends with a victory for the young Javier Baez. And here comes Anthony Rizzo, 1 for 2 today. He walked unintentionally in the 3rd and then was walked intentionally in the 6th. Looks like McGowan's going to pitch to him, though. And here comes the first pitch. That one popped up in the air. Playable for Francisco, but it will veer into the crowd. Francisco almost reached out for it. He almost had it, but was not able to reach it. Went about a row or two too far in. Change up very low, very outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baez has done a little bit of everything. RBI single. He reached on an error, 2-base error. He's grounded out, he's popped up, and now he's walked. So the rookie getting the full experience as he's going to add a stolen base to his stat line as well. Javier Baez at the major league level had yet to steal a base. As the 2-seamer's in there, 3 balls and 1 strike. Starlin Castro's due up next. He's on deck. Three balls, 1 strike to Rizzo, and that one veers foul. In AAA Iowa, however, for Baez, he stole 16 bases and was caught 8 times. So finally showing off the speed here in the majors, proved successful as Rizzo swings on a pitch inside. Second strikeout for McGowan, out number 2. And here is Starlin Castro. facing 2 outs with a man on second. That's Baez, hoping to bring him home. But he won't, as this one pops up to the pitcher. A P1 to close out the inning. So a man left on base for the Cubs. Still not 3 up, 3 down, but they're ahead 6-2 heading into the bottom of the 8th. Ryan Goins back up at the plate. He struck out twice today, hoping not to get the hat trick, though that's exactly what Edwin Jackson would want. We'll see what happens here. Should be a fun one. We've seen our share of upsets throughout this tournament, and we might be looking at another one as Edwin Jackson throws his 100th pitch right over the middle in the heart of the strike zone for strike 1. Kick and delivery on the 0-1, and that changeup, I didn't even see any break on it. That one just veered outside. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Goins. Swing and a miss on another changeup out of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Goins is in danger of striking out. And tied up on the slider. That'll do it for Ryan Goins. That is, in fact, his 3rd K and his 3rd one swinging. So Edwin Jackson over 100 pitches, 7 1/3 into this game. He could be on the verge of throwing the second complete game of the tournament. First one, of course, by the Blue Jays' very own R.A. Dickey. Ghost swings at the first pitch he sees, bounces into right field, and that's a 1-out single to close out the lineup. And we'll restart it with Jose Reyes very shortly. So Ghost knew what he had to do. He has not reached base at the hands of his own bat since the 9th. Back in that game back in Pittsburgh. Reached on an error back in the 6th, and now here he is in the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays down 4. They got a lot of ground to make up if they're going to. And if they're going to, they should start about now. First pitch by Jackson outside for ball 1. Jackson is 105 pitches into his outing. 1-0 popped up high in the air, and that's another souvenir for the fans. We saw Samardzija end up with a no decision in Oakland, though his team lost and was eliminated. Jason Hamill was also on that Oakland roster. We would have seen him start if the Athletics had gotten deep enough. And yet the man next up, Edwin Jackson, who has been struggling this season, has a almost ERA of 6, has been going to work. He's only given up 3 hits so far in this entire game to the Blue Jays. And the 4-seamer will sit Reyes down. That is strikeout number 2 of this inning. So Ghost still waiting for some advancement at first. Is going to have to wait another batter as Melky Cabrera comes up to the plate. Cabrera struck out looking back in the 3rd, and he's 0 for 3 today. As I said before, if the run's going to start, it needs to start now. I'll also reiterate the terms here. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Washington and Milwaukee, which will be played tomorrow. Loser will take on the Miami Marlins. If the Cubs blow this game and lose, they'll be in Miami at Marlins Park. But if the Blue Jays end up losing this game, as they are currently behind 6-2, they'll be right back here in Toronto on Sunday to take on those Marlins. 0-2 count here. Jackson a strike away from putting away the Blue Jays. But when we've seen Jackson in this situation, he's decided to at least waste a pitch. He won't do it here. No doubts about it. He'll sit down Melky Cabrera for the second time today, and the second time looking. 6-2 heading into the top of the ninth. We now have our third reliever in place of Mark Buehrle, Chad Jenkins. And the first batter he'll face is Justin Ruggiano. That solo home run way back in the second, that's his only hit of the game. He's since flown out, struck out, and then grounded into a force play. This one will roll along the rug into right field. So he gets his second hit of the game to lead off the ninth by hitting on the first pitch. So that'll bring up Wellington Castillo, himself only having one hit in this game. 1 for 4. He hit a double back in that second inning, then lined out to right, and he's grounded out the other 2 times. Going to see if he can generate more runs. Nothing like some insurance when you're ahead by 4. First pitch in there for a strike. Chad Jenkins, 0-1 in 19 appearances, no starts. He's finished 11 games, so he's looking to close out this one as the finishing pitcher for the Blue Jays. 3.13 ERA on the season. 1 ball, 1 strike to Wellington Castillo. Chad Jenkins from Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where he was born. Went to high school in Canton, Georgia, and then attended university at Kennesaw State. This one popped high in the air, right center field, and playable for Alcantara, as that will force Ruggiano to retreat back to first for out number 1. So Castillo finishes the day 1 for 5. At least we assume the day is done. Nothing is official in baseball. Anything can happen, but I think it's safe to say that Castillo's pretty much done 1 for 5. Here's Mendy Alcantara, comes in 1 for 4 with a strikeout and a single. He flew out to left the other 2 times, and he'll get on with another hit. And to be quite upfront with you, I almost missed that hit because I was looking down at his line score to see how he was doing, but he swings at the first pitch, just like Ruggiano did, and he gets on base. We'll see if Junior Lake will take those lessons in mind. He has 2 singles today. 2 for 3 against Chad Jenkins, who just came into the game. Oh, 1. Lake slaps this one. That one's finding green grass as it hits against the warning track, so it wasn't green grass. And it will be a 2 RBI double for Junior Lake, the designated hitter. It is now 8-2 in favor of the Chicago Cubs. And so here's Luis Valbuena. He hit a 3-run shot back in the second. We'll see if he can keep things going with 1 out and a runner on second. That's Lake. First pitch, 2-seamer at the ankles for ball 1. The Cubs, now up 8-2, have scored the most runs in a single game in this tournament. Change up taken, 2 balls, no strikes. And on my fuzzy math here, I do believe that they lead the entire tournament. Not everybody's played 2 games, but they currently lead the entire tournament with 15 combined runs. They scored 7 in that late inning win against Detroit. So they're up 8-2 here, as Valbuena has to scoot out of the way on the 2-seamer that veers inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Chris Coghlan on deck, hoping to keep things going. So if you told me that the number 8 seed would score 8 runs in a game, I would not believe you. And yet, here they are, as Valbuena will take his base. So Lake's on second, Valbuena's on first, and Chad Jenkins is just not a happy camper right now. For now, John Gibbons is keeping Jenkins in the game. Gonna hope he can get out of it, as Coghlan will take a 4-seamer on the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Coghlan reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th, and that was the only time in this game he's ever reached base. He's grounded out twice, he's flown out once, he's struck out once, but maybe he'll catch the offensive mojo. He won't on the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two-seamer in there, 2 balls, 1 strike. Coghlan, didn't occur to me until now, also making his first appearance of the tournament. So he has yet to pick up a hit. And he will do it here. And he'll bring home 1. Play at the plate. No! Got him! For out number 2. Junior Lake gunned down at the plate from right. Take a look at that. Out at the plate, 9-2. So that's out number 2, and here's Javier Baez. Coghlan reaches on the single, so runners on the corners with 2 out. That's Valbuena at third. That's Coghlan at first. And this one popped up in the air, carrying to right field, playable for Bautista. And the out is made. So the Cubs pick up 2 more runs for some insurance. The Blue Jays, not looking good for them heading into the bottom of the 9th, but this is baseball. Anything can happen here on the Coliseum Sports Network.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Cubs, number 53.
Wesley Wright will close things out. No complete game for Edwin Jackson, who had a very good run himself. But Rick Renteria just feels that Wesley Wright can take it the rest of the way. He only needs 3 outs to give the Cubs the win. But it looks like we're going to have another run here as that one sails into the second deck. No doubter by Jose Bautista. I guess Bautista felt that if the Blue Jays are going to go down, they're going to go down swinging. And the scoreboard showing the sentiments of the Blue Jays fans that have packed the house here at Rogers Center. It's not over yet. So here's Deoner Navarro. Navarro gets this one playable into right field. So a single here keeps the rally going as Wesley Wright can't get the out. And here's Juan Francisco with Navarro on first, takes the two-seamer. 1 ball, no strikes. This one fouled off. Two balls and 2 strikes here. 5 home runs. It was home run derby here. You have to see it to believe it. 5 home runs between both teams. 3 from the Blue Jays and 2 of those from Jose Bautista. Full count here. Wesley Wright trying to get out of a jam, looking for his first out, and he gets it right there. Strikeout for Juan Francisco. So here's Brett Lawrie, 0 for 3 today. Swung on and missed on the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball and 2 strikes here to Lawrie. This one rolls into center field. So 2 men on as this one's thrown back into the infield, collected by Castillo. So a single by Lawrie puts him on first, advances Navarro to second. And we'll take a look at that on show track there. Pitch well outside. Another one too low. Third pitch in the zone, fouls it off. Fourth pitch in the zone high. And the 5th one, just right. Inner half of the plate, but in a good place that he can hit it. So Wesley Wright can't get the job done. How about Pedro Strop? This one popped up in the air, fouled off. Slider swing and a miss to Rasmus. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Rasmus falls out of his shoes. Goodness. And Stroke comes up and strikes out Rasmus for out number 2. So Ryan Goins comes up as the final out. Two on, 2 out. And Pedro Strop looking to put things away, but his first pitch is a ball. Ryan Goins only has 1 home run this season. Now would be a good time for another one. Otherwise, the Blue Jays will move on to the loser's bracket, and the Cubs will continue their Cinderella story. This one popped up in the air to left field, playable, and Coughlin can't reach it.